We are word witches. We whisper, we weep, we wish things into existence. We are weavers of timelines with wonderings, with wantings, with will. We make it real. We can slip into daydream and awaken a new universe. We create new worlds with whim, with wrath, and with worship. We don't worry or waver or waste on words or worrying. We are word witches. Watch it work.
Years of weld. Welcome back, all who joined.
yesterday, Shay and I basically were talking about this amazing video that we came across and just sort of downloaded that little poem sort of right on the spot. And we knew we wanted to talk about the power of words today. We've talked about this before, but it's so good and it's so true. So, welcome to our channel. I am Shannon.
And I'm Shay. And on our channel, we talk about spirituality, awakening, law of attraction, manifestation, anything weird and wonderful in the universe that's going to help you get to your highest timeline.
Yes. And we are always just so happy to see each other and talk about this stuff. So that's the best part of this for us, actually, is to be able to just talk about this stuff. So thanks for joining us. So that's really what I opened up with is what we want to say. We create our realities with our words. We yell it, we whisper it, we laugh it, we joke it. Like all of the ways that we express ourselves in this universe is how we create our realities, how we co-create with the people with us, how we co-create with the universe. So that's really just what we want to talk about because it seems like sometimes our words we just take for granted or we just say things or just spit things out and we feel like they don't mean anything. But one of the things I was so inspired of that video that we watched was just the power actually of words. And it just reminds me and brings me back to that concept.
Yeah, so the video that she's referring to was an Aubrey Marcus podcast with Laurel Erica. We'll link it in the show notes below. But oh my goodness, it just got us really thinking about, I call myself online the spiritual mixologist, and that really comes from I like to see the different paths that come to me and then create a cocktail of sorts, depending on the situation in my life, taking bits from all these spiritual paths and creating something that it is I need in the moment. And I think we've been not struggling, but a little bit like, what are we? And when you said we are word witches, it just really brought into life this law of attraction and witchery that we create into one thing, and it's so beautiful and it resonates so deeply with me. And I want to read from the Four Agreements, which is another book that has deeply impacted both of us, I know. And we will do an episode on this, I know we will, but this is from the second chapter, the first agreement, which is be impeccable with your word. Why your word? Your word is the power that you have to create. Your word is a gift that comes directly from God. The word is not just a sound or a written symbol. The word is a force. It is a power you have to express and communicate, to think and thereby create the events in your life. You can speak. What other animal on this planet can speak? The word is the most powerful tool you have as a human. It is a tool of magic. But like a sword with two edges, your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. One edge is the misuse of the word, which can create a living hell. The other edge is the impeccability of your word, which will only create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Depending on how it is used, the word can set you free, or it can enslave you even more than you know. All the magic you possess is based on your word. Your word is pure magic, and the misuse of your word is black magic.
Yeah. Wow. First time I read that, I was like, wow, that is it. That's it. I mean, we talk about, casting spells and really this thought of our words are a spell. Of course they are. Our words are power. Our words have resonance. And we know, and this is just something that's common sense. We know that our words can hurt people. We know our words can heal. And so this can't be more true that what we say, whether it's verbally out loud to other people, whether it's what are we saying in our brain to ourselves, So impactful. It's everything. It literally creates the world we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. When I think about the magic that I put into action in my everyday life, it is the word that is the most used. Just like you said, in my co-creations with other people, in my conversations with other people, in the conversations I have with myself, it's the word that really is helping me to create the life that's in front of me. You get to dictate everything in your life just based on your word.
Yeah. Yes. We not only do we speak things into existence by just talking about them and focusing our energy, because energy loves attention. Our
Mm-hmm.
energy gets focused onto one thing. We start to speak it, we bring it into reality. That's definitely one aspect of it. But also, like, what does our word mean? This is really asking ourselves when we say something, do we actually mean it? Do
Mm-hmm.
we understand the impact of what we're saying, whether we mean it or not? Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So this is really what this book talks about, being impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
It's more than just being honest. It's a true understanding of the impact that your words have in this world. Either again to help, to harm, to lift, to push down, to educate, to confuse. So many different ways we can put ourselves out there into the world with our words and interact with everybody. It's so interesting how we choose to go about it.
Yeah, and just how certain words have certain vibrations is so interesting. I mean, I think we all know how it feels in our body to tell a lie versus when we're telling the truth. And the truth isn't always easy to be said, but sometimes those harder conversations, when you need to get the truth out, it can be like a release of pressure once the truth actually does come forth. And just how interesting that is that when you push your words down, how it
Yeah.
can create this pressure inside of your own body. And as we know, the body keeps the score, which I just started listening to this book this morning. So that's also on my mind. But everything is energy. So just pay attention to just that. The words that want to come out of your mouth, allow them, but take a second to filter, right? To be impeccable with your word and watch your life change when you do start acting this way.
Right. And when you do start using your word to actually consciously create,
Mm-hmm.
that's where really things become magic. And you think about even how you go about your daily life. Are you somebody that is gonna, notice and complain about things when they go wrong for you? Are you the person that always has to bring up the mistake or bring up the error or, bring up that thing from the past that, hurt you before? Is that how you're going about your world? Is that how you're creating? Because that's what you're calling in, that's the vibration you're calling in. So when we turn our language around to be more positive, to be more uplifting, to be more loving to ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
others, to be more compassionate, it changes everything. It starts to change us inside when we really start to pay attention to what's coming out and really, really focus on making sure instead of just, spitting out words or just like speaking out of turn, or sometimes we just think or speak without thinking. Instead, if we just take a moment, always actually, and make this a thought habit
Yeah.
where we're really conscious about what we're saying, we will change our worlds.
Yeah, and this is why a practice of gratitude is so impactful and one of the easiest ways to raise your vibration, because it is the combination of using your words and your own energy to literally raise the vibration in your energy field. So whether that's writing it down, saying it in your head, saying it out loud, that is why that is such a powerful practice.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to bring up Dr. Emoto's research, where
Mm.
he spoke to water and then froze the water and noticed the differences between what the frozen water looked like when they said words like love
Yeah.
versus, words like anger,
Yeah.
and what it physically looked like. So dramatically different. When I saw that,
It's changed the molecular structure of the water. Like, how insane is that?
right. Like, wow, that is mind blowing. If you've never heard of this, go look this up. Just Google this. This is like amazing. Dr. Emoto, is the name of the researcher. And he did this groundbreaking research where he showed us literally what the vibration of love looks like.
Yeah.
And what the vibration of hate and anger and what different words and how they manifested in the water. So if we know we can speak into water, imagine the vibration we put out into the world when we speak either love or hate.
Exactly. And it's a beautiful segue to this thought that I was having about, Abraham Hicks says that if you have the ability to speak it out loud, your manifestation has come so far that it's just at your fingertips, right? I mean, this is the magic of our word. If it's able to come out of your mouth, your manifestation is just there, just out of your reach. And just how beautiful is that? We could talk forever about the different categories of how your word can be magic. And that is just another one, thinking about manifestations. I mean, your words are not accidental either. Every word you say is on purpose, whether you're thinking it or it's your unconscious working. You have the ability to allow or to filter or to whatever it is.
Yeah, so true. I mean, sometimes you'll hear people excuse their bad behavior by just saying, well, I don't have a filter, or that's just me, or whatever. No offense, but for example, they're about to offend you. When those things are being said, it's a person is excusing themselves for words they know they're about to deliver that aren't going to feel good. And it's the power exchange that they're going for. It's an energy exchange. They're trying to put their words out to have a reaction, to get some type of boost back. We know that that's part of why people will do those things. They throw the insults or whatever. They're trying. It's a power they're using. So we can't just chalk it up to that's just my personality. This is a choice. We choose to speak how we want. We can't just say that we don't have control over that. There's probably situations we could come up with for everybody where you would be able to keep your mouth shut. You would be able to say what or not say offensive words in certain places or whatever. So we know we have control over this. We can control it. So this is even just changing those things that come out of your mouth is just as important as changing what's in your brain. We've talked over and over about changing your thoughts, changing your mindset, changing the way you're thinking, changing the way you're talking. This is everything.
And this is why, though, it's important too to surround yourself with people who are safe spaces, because I'm thinking about people in my life who I don't have to necessarily filter myself around. And like I said, when you push your words down, sometimes I can create pressure in your body until you literally explode. And so we all have those people where I can just go off and say all the things, and it's like cathartic opposed to like I'm sending out all this bad energy. That's why I think it is important not to filter yourself in certain circumstances.
No, I hear what you're saying on that. And I guess when I think about what I meant is sometimes when people are about to deliver an insult or criticism, they'll just be like, well, I don't have a filter.
Yes.
And I guess I mean more that, like, you should be able to walk around and say what you want. You should be able to be yourself. I mean, we know that's really what we're going for, is like to be our true authentic self, like speak your word, right? But consciously doing it for either power or ego, or you're trying to deliver some blow to somebody, that's really what I'm talking about. Don't excuse yourself from that. Don't think it doesn't have an impact. It does.
Yes.
We know it does. We've all been in that situation where we've done something and we've received 100 compliments and one criticism. And what do we think about?
The criticism.
Yeah, that's what we do, because that's how powerful words are to us. Yeah. And our brains really like those positive words, but it hooks onto those negative ones. Yeah. And it digs them in and it tells us, oh, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you deserve that, they're right, whatever it is that, those negative things. So we got to be responsible with what we say too. That's part of what I'm saying. We're word witches, because we can weave our reality with what we are saying, and we can weave a positive one, or we can weave a negative one. We can be the optimist, we can be the pessimist. We can decide how we want to do that. What do we want to put out into the world? So that's where we have total control. We all do. We all do.
And like on a more serious note, um, I work with survivors of domestic violence, and I've heard numerous times, right, that they would rather be physically abused than verbally abused, because those words sting and they stay in your mind. They create patterns and like grooves in your mind that are really hard to get out. I mean, how many of us have had a conversation and then we think for days afterwards about like what I could have said or what I should have said, or even
Right.
leading up to conversations of I'm going to see this person, okay, now how are these conversations going to go? This is the power that you have right now to set intentions with your own thoughts instead of spiraling out of control on, okay, what if it goes down this way, this negative path, or you get to you can start creating the positive path to conversations that are live in the present, right? But also, I mean, we're humans, so we do think about things that are going to be coming up in our future. You have the ability to set the intention now and how the conversations are going to go in your future.
Yeah, and just always keep it positive and look toward the light and look toward the positive energy and have that be the intent of what's coming out of your mouth. And of course, no one's perfect.
Yeah.
We all have the triggers. We all have the moments where we have something come out of our mouth that's probably not great or that does hurt somebody that we know hurts somebody. We can apologize. We should apologize. Use our words to soothe too. Use
Yeah.
your words to heal. We all know what that feels like too, to have that loving friend, to have that compassionate ear. What's that feel like when somebody just tells you they care about you and you're important and they love you and you've got this? That feels amazing. So do deliver those things. Don't assume people know that. Oh, they know I love them. They know I care about them.
Right.
Yeah, maybe, but say the words. The
Yeah.
words are what really is like makes the impact inside of us, just like you described, the bad ones, the good ones. So if we can just fill up with, more words that are good, more words that are positive, more words that are compassionate, and fill our language full of that, and have that be the habit of speech that we have coming out of our mouth all the time, this ends up making your world look totally different at some point
Mm-hmm.
once you start to change your language to be more positive and joyful.
Yeah, and even it's as simple as I remember somebody commenting one time. I'm walking down the street with some people, and I say hello to everybody, and I strike up conversations with everybody, right? And somebody's like, "Wow, I can't believe you do that." And it's like, how are you going to ignore a human on the street? Like somebody, like that's a moment that you can have that you might be the only positive interaction they have all day. And another story I have is my friend who's a server came to me and she was in tears. One of her customers was like, "How are you?" And she's like, "Oh, good, fine. Like, what would you like to have?" And he's like, "No, really, how are you?" Some people don't have anybody to ask them, and I really want to know. Are you doing okay? How's life at home? And it's things like that that can really make an impact on somebody. I mean, if she was really not having a good home life or having, I mean, that was an opportunity to really connect with somebody and like ask for help if needed or whatever. Your words are such a moment of connection. They can really bring you together. And off of that thought, I'm thinking about think about the people in your life where you go around them and you don't have good positive language. There are definitely people in my life that when I get around them, I notice myself talking in a different way than I would normally talk. Right? So that is just like a signal to me, like this is an energy change here. This isn't how I normally am. What is this? And this is when you can let's hey everybody, what are you grateful for? Like let's raise the vibration because clearly it's like not where it's supposed to be at or what I like it to be at.
Yeah. Or even just leverage the power of silence.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes just not saying something is
Yes.
the best thing to do. A lot of times, just not saying something is the right thing to do. You don't have to say the thing. You don't have to be right. You don't have to make the comment. You don't have to give the criticism. You can just be grateful and be in the now. You don't have to. Sometimes we just do that to ourselves, even it
Yeah.
seems like, where we ruin our own peace and calm by just pointing out what's wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. Your words are so powerful in how you shape your reality, that even if you don't believe what you're saying, your brain will start to believe it if you say it enough. That's how like the magic of affirmations work.
Yeah.
Just even, smiling creates certain chemicals in your brain. So even if you don't feel like smiling, you just make yourself smile. It makes yourself happier. It's
Yep.
like laughter, how that's contagious, all of that stuff. It's so magical, really, when we think about how all of that works. And we can really leverage all of that beautiful energy if we want, if we want. But it's like it's a skill. It's something you have to practice doing, is shaping your words to be that positive, beautiful manifestation that you really want, that description of your life, that description of your world. We've talked in different ways about how to love yourself and how to maybe change the narrative up and change your the things that happen to you that you're categorizing as bad, those challenges, into opportunities for growth. It's that type of thing we're talking about here with how do you characterize it? What's your story sound like? What's the story in your head? What's the story sound out about your life? If you were to tell a story about your life, what does that sound like? Is that a positive, uplifting story? Do I want to see your movie or not? Like, what is it? And the words are how we express ourselves. Even though we know a lot of times how we are communicating, a lot of times we communicate so much more with body language and expression. All of that comes into play, but the words are what actually like brings what we're trying to think basically into existence in some way. So let's use those words as spells, as intentional energy packets that we're sending out into the world to make it a better place.
Yes. So, dear listener, this is your invitation to be impeccable with your word and just to notice your word. I mean, just be conscious with the word and notice how that feels in your body.
Yeah.
I think it was last week's episode, maybe the week before that, where I was talking about ways that you can speed up your manifestations. And one of them is to stop gossip. And I mean, isn't gossip done with your word? And so when you realize that everything is energy, your words just back that up tenfold. It's how you communicate. It's the energy that you're putting out is the energy that you get back. And so you have to pay attention.
You have to pay attention. So if you're saying things that are disingenuous, if you're outright saying falsehoods,
Yeah.
those things are a vibration that basically are going to circle back to you. You get what you are.
Yeah.
So that's the other reason why pay attention to your word. You get what you are. So if you're putting negative things, if you're trying to deceive people, that's basically what you're going to get back,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So we want to live a happy life. I know we do.
Yeah.
I think you probably do too. So even more reason to pay attention to your word and understand the power of it. And the things that come out of your mouth are the things that make your life.
And the word is such a powerful teacher. Just based on like I was saying, the different situations that come up in your life and how your language can change when you're around certain people or in certain situations. It tells you something about yourself, right? It can show your insecurities. It can show what you're empowered about. So pay attention and just notice, how your word maybe changes in different scenarios or when you're with different people, and it can bring you a clue as to where maybe you have some lower energy or some higher vibe energy happening in your life.
Yeah. And bring the word in, the positive, beautiful, good words in when you see that you have an opportunity to
Yeah.
change the vibe in the room.
Yeah.
You know what a difference somebody can make when they come in the room and light it up with their beautiful language or bring it down with complaints.
Yeah.
So be the one that comes in and lifts that vibe. You can change the energy around if you choose.
Yeah.
If you choose. So this again, it's something you just got to work on. It's a skill. You tell yourself, I'm going to be positive in this situation. I'm going to see the best of this. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to look at this in the most positive way possible, no matter what, no matter how it turns out. when you can stick to this is when you start to see miracles happen in your life. It feels like and looks like miracles to you because it's like, wow, all these beautiful things I'm speaking into existence around me. And it's because I just don't speak anything but that. And
Yes.
I'm not going to expand the things that I don't like. I'm not going to expand the negative energy. I'm not going to expand the criticism and the worries. I'm just not going to. And it's such a relief to be able to put that kind of behind you, honestly. It's like half the reason I don't pay attention to the news. I don't
Right.
want to have all that negative energy. Maybe I'll glance at things and semi pay attention to what's happening on earth. But for the most part, I don't want to expand all that. I'm trying to rise above here. We're having some crazy energy in this world right now, some really huge polarization where people are just picking sides and there's just vitriol and people are just so negative toward each other. And I don't want to contribute to any of that. I don't want to participate in any of that. So I decided I'm going to rise above, and my word is going to sound totally different from this point on. And I'm going to speak joy and love and happiness. And I'm going to stick to that. And that feels energetically fantastic. It does, right? When you start to switch around your words, it feels great. And suddenly I look around and I'm just like singing and skipping and like all the time because I've decided to change my word and use my word in a powerful way to change my existence. And I can't be happier with that because it is definitely working out.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is how we manifest what we want, right? You have to be able to talk about it, and if you can't clearly communicate what it is you want, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
Never going to get it.
Yeah, exactly. So pay attention to your word. Notice the things that you say. Notice the positive, the negative. Notice. And that's really the first step to actually changing your word around is notice what it currently sounds like. And then start to change your language to be more positive. Gradually over time, you'll just be that way.
Yeah, and it may take some repatterning, can't say that word, of your brain, right? Because we do have that 7 year download where we heard the language that other people were using, and sometimes that's all we know is like a negative word or negative thoughts or whatever. But empower yourself to take control of your own life, and a beautiful way to start is to be paying attention to your word.
Yes, that's it. And we are grateful to be here with you using our words to
Yes.
hopefully raise your vibration, make your life a little bit easier. Like we've always said, we're doing this for each other. So I know I love this conversation, Shay. Thank you so much for having it with me. And I know that the more I pay attention to my words, the power of my words, the reach, the impact of my words will be bigger because it's it's our intent. It's the energy we put out there into the universe, and the universe sees everything. So,
Yeah, I have so much gratitude for this platform, for being a space where we can use our word to create our life. I'm just so grateful for all those who listen to our words, who take them and put them into action in their own lives. I mean, we talk so much about self-love and circling around with the word. I mean, what are you saying to yourself to raise your own vibration, to lift your own self up is so important. So just thank you for being here. And I am so grateful to have this conversation with you and to be able to put this word out there for everybody.
yeah, so you'll find us on YouTube, you'll find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We put a new episode out every Monday. So, thanks so much for spending this time with us. And we hope to see you next week.
Yes, thank you, and see you next Monday.